Welcome back. It is Sunday, April 21st in the NBA. My three best bets are on the way. What's going on, everyone? It's Austin from Calling Our Shot, joined today by your guys' favorite special guest, the Broom. A 3-0 sweep, exactly what the doctor ordered to start the NBA playoffs. Let's do a victory lap, dive into today's picks. The first one, we started with Kevin Durant over in PRAs. Should have been an easy third quarter winner. He made us sweat a little bit into the fourth, but he got the job done. Speaking of the fourth quarter, that's Josh Hart's quarter now. Over 22.5 points plus rebounds. As a Knicks fan, that was literally nuts. That's never happening again. But Josh Hart, we appreciate you. And then our final play of the day, Anthony Davis over in points. He ended with like 32 points. Pretty easy 3-0 day, 30-10 run. In addition to the 3-0 day, we also brought out the Brooms in the MLB. It was a perfect game for Calling Our Shot. Doesn't happen often where we sweep both sports, but an electric day. MLB video already posted before this one if you want to go check that out, what we're rolling with on Sunday. But you guys came here for some NBA picks. I got two things to talk about first. First one, Fanatics, still a great offer, and a lot of you guys took advantage of the offer yesterday. It is available in New York plus a bunch of other states. New York actually, I believe, is our biggest state in terms of viewage from all 50 U.S. states. But if you want to sign up with the top link in the description, you bet up to $100 on one bet, and they'll get a $100 bonus bet for 10 days straight. All details down below, but if you're interested in signing up for Fanatics, I always say I recommend to have multiple different books because sometimes books, the lines move quicker on others. Sometimes they are a little stale on other books. It's always good to diversify your sports book. So if you ever want to sign up, you can definitely sign up using that top link in the description. Check out all the details down there for Fanatics. Like I said, available in New York plus some other states. And my second note, Parlay Play, we talked about them a few days ago. They are a great app for daily fantasy stuff. And my three cool perks about them. Number one, they're available in Florida, as well as a bunch of other states, which is pretty cool because, as you guys probably know that live in Florida, like myself, PrizePicks, Underdog, Fantasy of the World, those aren't here anymore. So you kind of need something to fill in there. You got Parlay Play. They also, number two, they have a free square right now for Damian Lillard to score 1 point. I'll show how I'm using that at the end of the video. Number three, if you sign up using our code COS, they'll match your first deposit up to $100. It's free money. Take advantage of it. Code COS. You get the free square, and it's available in Florida plus a bunch of other states. All those details down below in the description. But you guys came here for NBA picks, and the goal today is to go 3-0 and bring out this Broom once again tomorrow morning. But we need to dive into the picks today, and we're going to start in Boston for the first one. We got the Heat versus the Celtics. And honestly, this series, based on the pricing, they don't think it will be too competitive, but I think this guy will try his best to keep it competitive because I'm taking Tyler Hero over 28.5 points plus assists, minus 115 on FanDuel. Now, I do like this at 29.5. I don't mind his PRA line, but I don't love the rebounds today for Mr. Hero. If you had an individual line, points was definitely the way to go. It was 23.5. I just thought the 23.5 to 28.5, only 5 assists. There's a realistic possibility Hero could approach 6, 7, 8, or 9 assists, maybe even more than that. So I like that. Obviously not the best matchup for assists though for Hero. So I won't, say, oh, he's going to get 10 assists. Probably not going to happen, but I think you could easily get 5 to make them equal. If you get 6 or 7, that's better than taking the points line. Now, you look at Hero over the last 2 games. Obviously, they're still down Jimmy Butler. Hero's at 34 and 33 points plus assists. It's not like he's faced really easy matchups. I mean, you saw that first play-in game against the Sixers. Then you had that next game play-in games against the Bulls. He still got it done. He attempted 27 and 17 shots. He had 41 in 33 minutes. Did not play the final 8 minutes of that last game against the Bulls. Now, obviously, I'm not going to come out here and say the Celtics are barbecue chicken. This is a great matchup for him. No, they have Drew Holiday. They got Derek White. They got a bunch of other guys. But I do think that this is a spot where Hero's going to have the volume, and he's going to be needed to score and facilitate for this team. And we think about Hero basically has the ball in his hand nearly every single possession. And you look at them, sure. Could they get blown out? They're 13, 14-point underdogs. Yes. But I really think that they keep this game close-ish. I'm not saying they keep it and they win outright or they cover the 13.5, but this game's even within 15 to 20 points. Hero will play a lot of minutes, and I think the field goal attempts will be there for him. Now, I'm not going to put up the fact screen, but instead I'm going to put up 2 graphics on the screen and talk about each of them. Now, the one on the left is going to be Hero and where he shoots and where he scores the majority of his points. As you see, 44% of his points typically come via, above the 3-point line. The next, 14% are inside the 3, but, outside the paint. And then the other 23% are inside the paint, but outside the restricted area. Now, why does that help us today? Because if you look at the other graph on the right, the Celtics, 28th defensively, and 22nd defensively versus those 3 little areas. Well, you see great from the Celtics. They're really good at stopping them at the rim, 5th best there, 2nd best at limiting corner threes. That's not really where Hero scores. He does not really go in and, dunk on people, get into the rim, in the restricted area. That's not his game. He's also not really camping out in the corner because he's typically the guy with the ball in his hand. So we look at the ways to score against the Celtics is you go against their drop coverage. It's a team that gives up a lot of pull-up jump shots all season long. That's why we were backing a lot of guards against them, because you typically got Kristaps Porzingis, or if Al Horford comes off the bench, they're playing drop coverage, trying to protect the paint, which I anticipate they do once again today. Now, obviously, he's going to have Drew Holiday on him, or Derek White, two really, really good defenders, but I still think the pull-up opportunities are there for Hero, and as we've seen, like that game against the Sixers, Hero is not afraid of shooting shots when he's 2 for 80. He does not care. He will continue to fire it up. And even if he shoots very poorly today, I think the volume's too high in this spot. They could get smoked, sure. You could say that. Any team gets smoked. When you try to predict the blowout in the NBA, it's never a blowout. That's just how it is. I think that Hero's going to try his best to keep the team in it. If he doesn't make his shots, whatever. But I think the field goal attempts are there. I think he shoots 17, 20 times tonight, maybe even more. And they're obviously pretty decent looks given those two graphs I already showed you. So Tyler Hero, my first pick of the day, hopefully starts us off 1-0 with his over 28.5 points plus assists. Now, technically, I believe the second game on the slate is Clippers versus Mavs. Personally, with Kawhi Leonard's injury status, I don't love it. If I honestly had to make a pick, I was considering taking Clippers plus the points. I don't love that. I just don't have anything I love. What a system that I have been considering recently has been looking at lines when they open versus when they close and seeing where the difference is. So, for instance, Luka Doncic opened at 30.5 points. Lines all the way moved up to 33.5. Do you think that they're 3 points off from his original line? I'm not bold enough to bet a Luka under, but I'm just saying it's kind of worked out over the past few the end of the season. I wasn't really putting those picks out because I was just testing something out, but something to consider. Like I said, I'm avoiding that Clippers Mavs game. My second pick will be an under. No one likes unders, and this one might make me look like an idiot. However, let's talk about it. Pat Connaughton of the Milwaukee Bucks, under 5.5 points, minus 128 on FanDuel. Now, obviously, I don't expect this line to drop to 4.5. If anything, it gets more juiced as the day goes on, and I would probably play it to about minus 140, minus 145. This is available on BetMGM, Fanatics, which I already talked about at the beginning of the video. If you want to sign up for Fanatics, get it there. FanDuel, ESPN Bet. DraftKings is one of the only books that does not have a line for Pat Connaughton. Don't ask me why. I'm not the one that makes lines for DraftKings. I have no idea why they don't have one. I don't really care. I'm not playing it there. There's a bunch of other books. Now, is it scary taking an under for a guy at 5.5 points? Yes, because he could come in, boom, boom, 2 threes, and you're like, all right, well, nice. We just lost in 30 seconds. Yes. At the same time, he could not play a lot of minutes, maybe play a minute or two, miss his only shot or two, and it could be sweat-free as it gets. That could also happen. And that's kind of what I expect to happen. Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo, obviously the guy that is in doubt here, doubtful to play. If he plays, wonderful. If he doesn't play, which is what I'm predicting and what the people expect, I don't mind it either. That's why I'm on Pat Connaughton's under. Now, let's talk about this one. And this was my favorite pick in the video. Obviously, if it implodes in my face, whatever. But let's talk about the Bucks rotation. I'm just going to list the guys that I'm pretty confident are playing a lot of minutes today. Damian Lillard, Patrick Beverley, Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, Brook Lopez. That's probably the starting lineup. Those guys are going to play a lot of minutes. Jay Crowder and Malik Beasley are probably their 6th and 7th man, considering Bobby Portis typically their 6th man, but probably in the lineup today. And where else are the minutes going? I mean, you got AJ Green off the bench, great. Thanasis ain't playing minutes unless they're up 30 or down 30. And then you got Pat Connaughton kind of as that 8th man. Is Pat Connaughton in a playoff game like this at home? Is he guaranteed 20, 25 minutes? No, absolutely not, especially considering Doc Rivers probably plays Damian Lillard 40 minutes, probably plays Chris Middleton 40 minutes. Bobby Portis and, Brook Lopez probably approached 36 by themselves. And then you probably got Pat Bev out there for defensive purposes playing a lot of minutes too. So I just don't see Pat Connaughton having an easy way to get in a ton of minutes today. You saw that last game of the season. They got smoked by the Magic, sure. He didn't get the garbage time minutes, which I don't expect him to get here. But in that game, he played only 14 minutes. That was a game with Damian Lillard playing 30. You had other guys like Chris played 32. I think in a game that expects to be close, we should see Pat Connaughton not play a ton of minutes. So I don't see a lot of minutes coming his way. Not only that, it's not a good matchup for how he scores. Connaughton scores 44% of his points via spot-up shots, and scores, which the Pacers rank first defensively against, and another 16% in transition, which is obviously where the Pacers, run fast up and down the court. They rank 15th, so dead middle of the pack. So we look at the real way Pat Connaughton scores a lot of catch-and-shoot opportunities, and as we've talked against the Pacers, they don't give up a lot of catch-and-shoot. They actually want you to go into the paint and score against them because they trust their offense on the other side. They trust Miles Turner to rim protect, and so Pat Connaughton, I don't see him getting a ton of open threes, and neither do the Bucks because Pat Connaughton to make 2+ threes today, plus 310. I mean, they really don't expect him to make two. If he makes two, tip my cap to him. Plus 310, congrats to the Pat Connaughton over betters. But this season, in games with Chris Middleton playing, and when he's made one or fewer threes, Connaughton's averages 4 points per game, going under in 75% of games. 18 of the games that I just mentioned where he went under in 75%, 18 of those games, he played more than 25 minutes. I personally, shocked if Pat Connaughton plays 25 minutes. I think he might play 10, 15 minutes tonight. And if he's only playing that many minutes, sure, he probably has to shoot really efficiently. I just don't like this matchup for him. Could I look like a clown when Pat Connaughton goes out there and makes all of his shots? Sure. It could happen. He's a guy at home. He's a role player at home. Maybe they probably play better there. But I still just don't like the matchup for him for how he scores. So I will fade Pat Connaughton. I know it's a weird prop. Probably not a prop you had any idea I would take. But I really think this is a good spot to fade Pat Connaughton under 5.5 points. It's a low line. I considered his points plus assists or his PRA line. I'd rather just take the points. If he goes over and scores 6 points, whatever. I don't care, Pat Connaughton. We're fading you today. I hope you play 3 minutes, and that's all. That's all we want. Now, my last play of the day, we're going to go to the final game, Pelicans on the road taking on the Thunder. There's a couple other picks I considered in this game, but I'm actually going to go to a role player for the Pelicans, and it's Herb Jones, the straight jacket, over 9.5 points, minus 125 on FanDuel. This is like a 10-plus points line, which a lot of books will obviously offer. Some books will be at 10.5, which I don't mind for Herb Jones, but I'll take the 10-plus points, lay the minus 125, and move on with my life. Now, obviously, Herb Jones is not known for being a big scorer. He's more of a defensive guy, and he's going to be needed out there, especially against Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Could he get into foul trouble? Yes, but he probably has a little bit more leeway on the in the playoffs when they don't call as many ticky-tack fouls. But I still like Herb Jones more offensively. Obviously, really good defender. He'll be needed for those purposes. Now, I like this matchup for Herb, just like I hate the matchup for Connaughton. Instead of the Pacers who give up like no catch-and-shoot threes, that's basically all the Thunder give up. So if you look at Herb, scores 35% of his points via spot-up opportunities, a.k.a. catch and shoot. That's where the Thunder rank 27th defensively. So we've seen Herb Jones take advantage of this matchup in the past. His last 4 games against OKC, he has scored 20, 5, 14, and 16 points. He's attempted 16, 9, 12, and 12 field goal attempts. The one game he went under, I think he shot 2 for 9. Like, if you're telling me I'm getting 9 field goal attempts potentially from Herb Jones, I'm taking it any day of the week because Herb is a guy that I believe is honestly going to be left open. Now, not as left open as Josh Hart was yesterday, but he's still, if you're thinking about the Thunder coming in here, you're going to obviously try to focus on Valanciunas, try to limit him. You're going to look at McCollum. You probably have Lou Dort on him. You probably have J-Dub on Brandon Ingram. Maybe mix up some matchups against Ingram and try to make his life difficult. Outside of that, Trey Murphy, you probably don't want to leave him open. So if there's going to be one guy that probably gets Josh Giddey on him, it's probably Herb Jones. And I think Herb Jones is in a matchup that he can attack. We've seen this Thunder team really pack the paint when you try to drive in, and Herb Jones is going to be wide open on the corners. You look at actually, like I showed you the graph earlier about the Celtics and kind of how they show, the reds, where they're red in the corners. The opposite is kind of the true for the Thunder. They're completely green in the corners, which is where Herb Jones is kind of spotting up, but all red almost everywhere else, or maybe orange. So we look at when Herb shoots 7 or more times, he's over this line in 72% of games this season. And as I mentioned earlier, he has 9 or more shots in 4 straight versus OKC. So obviously, it's a little risky backing a guy like Herb Jones. His minutes might be here or there. He scored 10 and 5 in their 2 play-in games. Didn't get a lot of minutes in that last game because Najee Marshall off the bench played really well, as well as Alvarado and Nance. It's kind of hit or miss with Willie Green, but I expect Herb Jones to get the minutes there, and I really think he gets some open shots. So Herb Jones, the straight jacket, over 9.5 points, my third pick of the day. No more added plays for this one. We're just going 3 picks. Heck, if you're in the DubClub, which if you want to join and get our picks early, you definitely should. It's only $5.99 a month. I'll give you a 7-day free trial down below if you want to. You definitely consider that because I'll probably post a pick early for Monday's slate. Now, finally, we'll talk about parlay play, and it's not much to talk about. My entry that I'm using the Damian Lillard free square on, him to score 1 point, is on the screen. I'm just parlaying it with our other 3 picks. Try to turn $10, which is the max you can do on that Damian Lillard free square. Try to turn it into almost 100. I'll take my chances on that. A reminder, you can sign up for parlay play using our code COS or the link in the description, and they will also match your first deposit up to $100. Pretty cool offer. You get that free square. It's available in Florida. A bunch of other cool things. But I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's bring out this bad boy once again tomorrow. And as always, if you want to check out our picks for the MLB, go check it out. We just swept over there too, going for back-to-back perfect games from COS. Unlikely that happens, but let's try to get it done. Hopefully we'll win some more money, and I'll see you guys back on Monday with some more picks. See you then. Peace.